Hello, ladies. Welcome to She. I'm super excited to be here with you today. We have another session, super powerful. Buckle up because we're going to learn a lot. We have an amazing speaker today. So get ready to ask some questions. Get ready to just enjoy this session. We are on a mission to help 1 million women create wealth through real estate while fostering personal, professional, and spiritual growth. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for being on this mission with us today. Just so you know, we are on Facebook. We would love to see your faces, smile. For those on Facebook, join us on Zoom. The link is on the comments, and that way you can ask questions to our speaker today. Okay, a little disclaimer. We offer real estate investment opportunities. Every investment has a risk, so please understand what you're doing, get to know the people that you're investing with. Every speaker that we bring offer different products or services. We do not endorse any of them. I bring them because I just want to be friends with them because they are amazing and I want to learn from them. So do your due diligence, right? She was brought to you by Massive Capital. We are a vertically integrated real estate investment firm. We have 1,600 units in multifamily across Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, and Colorado. On the other side, we also do new construction for retail centers with one of our sister companies, Realty One. So combined, we have a portfolio of over $500 million of assets under management. As I mentioned, we are vertically integrated. We have, of course, the equity, the fund, the triple net brokerage, the triple net property management, and today we're going to talk a lot of asset management. So buckle up. We also have the land development, the triple net construction, and we have massive masters for people who want to start doing their own deals, want to partner up with us. This is a great place to start because the principals will take you under the wing to do deals with us. So if that's something that you're interested, just let me know. I'm happy to connect you. We have events across Texas that you can attend and learn if this is something that it will be a great fit for you. For the other side, if you're looking to start investing in commercial real estate, but you don't have the time, or you don't know what exactly to start, you can also connect with me. We have different investment opportunities, and we open them first for non-accredited investors, and then we switch for only accredited investors. If you're not sure if you qualify as an accredited investor or not, just book a call with me. Just so you know, you can also use retirement accounts to start investing in real estate. So we have a sponsor, Skyline Title. If you are doing real estate, you know, having a title company who understands the investment side is super powerful. You always want to have somebody who can help you have a smooth and trustworthy transaction. So if you're closing a property, be sure to check them out. They have locations everywhere in Texas, of course, and outside of Texas. So check them out. Okay, we have two events coming up on Thursday. So if you are in Fort Worth area, in Dallas area, we're gonna do a property tour in one of the properties that we have. We have 42 units in Fort Worth, and we're gonna go over all the lessons learned, right? It's different when we walk the properties and we can tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, all the challenges, what we have learned, and everything. So if you're in the area, let me know. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for those who are in WhatsApp. That's the best way to get all those links, and Facebook. So I'll put the links on the chat. Also, if you are in Houston area, I'm honored to share that I'll be speaking at Texas Women in Business in Houston on Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you're in the area, let me know. Let's connect. I think Ismet is here. She invited me to her community. So if you're in the area, be sure to connect. And we host events across the country. Well, we went international this year. We host our first event in Dubai. So just to stay connected with this community, it's super powerful to be connected and surrounded by the woman who gets what you're doing, right? So stay connected. We will be hosting one coming up in Dallas. So I'll share all the details as soon as we have all the details and dates and everything. We have also one more coming up in Tampa. So stay connected and we will love to meet you in person. For those who were in Austin this past weekend, we had a blast. It was an amazing event. So thank you so much for all who joined in Austin this Saturday. All right, so a little bit about real estate and why I personally decided to start investing in real estate before we get into our amazing speaker today. So number one is cash flow, right? We want to make sure that whatever we're doing, whatever, either if we're raising a family, starting a business, growing a business, or just traveling the world, we just want to make sure we have income. So commercial real estate, that's one of the first things that offers, right? Having income, passive income. So the second one is long-term appreciation. On average, women keeps 81% of their wealth just sitting on the bank. So, and that was me. I was just saving money, and put it on the bank until I decided to buy my first piece of land. So here I am, probably 100 over a little bit over 100 pieces of land later. So that's what got me into multifamily. Leverage, right? 43% of women have career breaks, sometimes because we decide to raise a family or take a break, whatever. Sometimes it's voluntary, sometimes it's involuntary, right? Taking care of elderly parents, partners, kids. But it's important to have peace of mind that we have cash flow coming in. So leverage, that's how we leverage somebody else to manage the assets, runs them, do all the heavy lifting, and you just get the cash flow. Diversification. 70% of women have never met with a financial advisor. We don't really know where to invest. We are taught that we need to contribute to our 401k, and that's it. That's all that society tells us. But there are so many ways that we can diversify our retirement accounts and our portfolios. Real estate by itself offers a handful of options where we can start investing in real estate. Last but not least, the tax benefits. It doesn't matter how much money you make, but how much money you keep in the bank, right? We want to keep all our money. We don't want to pay taxes, and there is a legal way to do it. We just hear today that bonus depreciation is coming back to 100%. So when you invest in multifamily, at the end of the year, we give you a K1. You just give it to your CPA, and they do the magic. You're able to offset your income with the depreciation. Of course, I'm not a CPA, and every person has different situations. If you have questions, just connect with me. If I don't have the answer, I'll be sure to connect you with our CPA. All right, our speaker tonight is Tina Reid. I'm super excited to have her. She has over 10 years in the industry. She had over $2 billion of assets under management. So she was managing this portfolio, and then she took a leap of faith to start her own company. I'm super excited to have you, Tina. Welcome in.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and speak to your community. I appreciate you giving me the platform, and I hope I serve you guys well and provide a lot of value for everyone who's taking time out of their day to listen in. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Tina. Awesome. Well, let's get it started. You have a really amazing story, and you mentioned that a lot of your story and your journey is based on intuition and self trust. So, can you share a little bit more about your story and how that led into the business world?
Yeah, so I think, women, we have a unique ability. We have a very strong intuition. And oftentimes I hear people talking about multifamily in a negative for women, saying that, it's a male-dominated space and it's hard for women to be successful. But I actually think the opposite. I think women in the business have an advantage because we're able to tap into that intuition and creative ability. We think about things differently, and it's definitely a strength. I wish I could sit here and say I always had. I trusted that intuition. I didn't. Early in my career, I think I wanted to fit in. I wanted to show everyone that I deserved to be at this level and I could do everything, that the men were doing. So I think that led me to conform a little bit more than I wanted to. And only through age, I think, as I've gotten more mature and just through experience, learned to listen to your intuition when you get that gut feeling that, hey, something's not right here, to start listening to that. I also think it's just overcoming adversity. As you overcome adversities in your life and overcome different things, you learn to trust yourself a little bit more. And things that you once thought maybe were negatives, they become your biggest advantages. And I think one of those things for me is I have a hearing impairment. So I spent my early adulthood not being able to hear. So I didn't really know that I had my son when I was 19. And after that time, I started to have very massive like hearing loss, and they really couldn't figure out what that was. And it was probably my biggest insecurity. And I just thought, what am I going to do? I can't hear in normal like conversation. Like, how am I going to do anything? Um, but through that, I think it made me stronger in a sense because it gave me the ability to what I call like read the room. So, they say communication is up to 70% nonverbal. So, being that sometimes I couldn't hear everything, like my first semester of college, I had to sit on the very front row because I literally couldn't hear. So, when I would go into rooms or in meetings, I would just pay very close attention to things like body language. How is everybody reacting? Like, to figure out what was going on to bridge that gap to where I couldn't hear. Now, at the time, it was awful. But later on, as I progressed in my career, it really was an advantage because you just pay a lot more attention, and knowing when to interject, knowing when to speak up is just as important as what you say. And I think sometimes as women, we think, oh, we always want to have a voice, and so we're going to interject, but that's not necessarily the right thing to do. Sometimes it's okay to sit back and observe and wait for the moment. And that shows thoughtfulness, that shows that you have emotional intelligence. And I think that that's very, very important in business.
Absolutely. I love that part because, what at one point you thought it was your weakness, it eventually turns into a skill set, just reading people, reading the room, reading the energy. And once you capture that, you know how to talk to people, you understand from another perspective or from different lenses. So I love that. That's super amazing. And then the other part is like you are a fitness enthusiast. I see you on Pilates running every day. So I love that. How has your commitment from physical wellness influenced your way to do business and show up on high stake rooms? You're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
Unmute. Um, so I think that after COVID is really when I started to take my physical health seriously. I think before that, I was heavily focused in just one domain, which was career. And then when COVID happened, it was kind of like a timeout and been like, okay, well, I'm doing great in my career, but these other areas, my relationships and my physical health. And back then, I would just deal with stress by unwinding. Let me have a glass of wine. Let me deal with stress in this way. And then I, gained some weight, and I'm like, okay, there has to be another way that I can show up better for myself, because I do believe how you show up for yourself is enables you to show up and do everything else for your family, for your career. So I think it's very important. I mean, it's taught me discipline for sure. There's some days that I don't want to work out. I'm tired, I have other things to do. It would be very easy to make an excuse, but showing up and having that discipline, it helps you in your career, because there's going to be days where you don't want to deal with the problems. You just don't want to have to do things, but with that discipline, you know that you've made the commitment and you know that you can get through it. So I think just discipline and consistency, it helps you manage stress, and so you don't always have to be reactive. I think that's the biggest thing. It's helped me just zoom out, giving me perspective and say, okay, let me be proactive here. I don't want to go into situations like, oh, now I have to react because this happened, so let me just jump to fix it. I think it gives you a little bit of pause. So here lately I've been doing 75 hard, and so my
Oh.
second workout is like a 45-minute walk, and I do that at the end of the day. So that gives me time to kind of decompress before I'm gonna get back into like family mom role. Because I have a son, he's 18. He just graduated high school, and so not as much. He does a lot on his own now, but it gives me the ability to kind of decompress, get out of work mode, and then go back into like my feminine energy, which I have struggled with so much. So that's a different topic, but I just think having that pause and stress relief for sure.
We definitely need to talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I totally agree. Just for me, it's just like it gives me the resilience, just like you say, to keep showing up over and over again, and also helps me show up and understand that I can show up for myself, and I don't have to one wait for anybody to show up for myself. Like I can count on me. I can do the things that I say I was gonna do, and just showing up and starting the day with the right food,
Yes,
destroying your body. And then, if you destroy your body in the gym, there's nothing else will destroy you during the day.
I agree. They say, like, you build confidence when you keep promises to yourself. So I think it helps a lot in everything that you do.
Absolutely. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and let's get into the meat of this talk, right? After leading over $2 billion of assets under management in multifamily, what's one of the misunderstood aspects in the asset management that you believe separates the top tier operators from the rest?
For sure, the great question. So I think number one, everything starts with acquisitions. You first have to acquire the deal. And I think a lot of the money is made on the buy side. So it's very, very hard to manage your way out of a bad buy. Even for people who are great asset managers, if you buy the deal wrong or in the wrong location, it's going to be very difficult to try to manage that into a successful outcome. So I think everything starts with acquisitions first and then asset management. But on the asset management side, I think owners and even asset managers make the mistake that it's all just about the numbers. And really, the meat of asset management is like between that. So you have got to be able to, a good asset manager, yes, they're going to have the financial background, they understand the numbers, but then they're also able to read between the lines on the P&L, and that takes going out on site and interacting with the people who are actually front facing the tenants. on a day-to-day basis because there's just so much you can pick up on that the numbers aren't telling you necessarily. So if you're just behind a desk, if you want to be a desk asset manager, I don't think you're going to be as successful. So you need to have some asset managers are very analytical and they just want to be on the numbers and maybe they'll pick up the phone and call. But when you're physically there and you start to show up and help explain, because as the asset manager, if you take the perspective that you're just going to come in and tell everyone what to do, you're not going to be very successful. It's more like you're there to bridge the gap and also help educate the people on site on what you're looking for, why you're asking for certain things, and helping them understand like, we're in this together. I'm here to be a resource for you, not to throw you under the bus when things go wrong. So I think having the right asset manager, and sometimes if an asset manager is very analytical and they don't have the people skills to connect with the on-site team, it's okay to have, I've seen groups be successful in having two people who asset manage, one who does the back end reporting, and then another one who's actually going to be going out on site and doing property and tours, and they're like a team. So they kind of tag team that to overcome that if you have an asset manager that's just in the numbers.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, you said it perfectly, but reading between the lines and the
Mhm.
P&L, yeah, numbers tell you a lot, and definitely that's something that we need to be focused, the financial aspect, but just by even talking to the tenants, right? So of course, we have, at Massive Capital, we have meetings with asset managers every week and we go over all the reports, but we also host a lot of community events, Christmas, pictures with Santa, whatever, right? Mother's Day. And that's where we show up and we talk to people and we understand what they need, or just for them to have somebody to talk to complain about, right? Gives them just that perspective that we're listening, we're here to make your home better, to build a community.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And sometimes people just want to be heard. They just want to know that the ownership cares. Like I was on site recently at a deal in Lancaster that I asset manage, and the property is struggling a little bit and they haven't taken care of the landscaping. So I was out driving in the golf cart and one of the tenants stopped me and was like, "Hey, when are you guys gonna cut the grass?" Right? And I'm like, "We're working on it. This is something that we're gonna do." And I think just being that reassuring voice, like, hey, we're on it, we see you, we hear you, and this is what we're going to do to make it right. Now, you have to follow that up with action because you don't want to just give empty promises, but I think that's very important to have that on site presence.
Absolutely, yeah. The other, and of course, you mentioned the part of acquisitions. I know you're also been focused on the development and the asset management. How do you define a truly strategic investment in today's multifamily landscape?
So I think that that question is really going to be determined by what it is you're trying to buy. I think the most strategic thing that you can do right now is stick to your core competencies. So understand what is it that you do that's better than other people and just double down and focus on your strengths. So if you have been a value add buyer and you do 1980s properties, then double down and focus on that. I think people get spread too thin and they want to do new construction, they want to do ground up development, they want to do a condo conversion. Like, okay, whoa. Back up a little bit and focus on, especially right now when things are a little bit stressed, it's never a bad idea to just focus on what you do best and just continue to get better. And then as the market improves, you can expand that out. You'll have more resources and flexibility to get into other things. But when you're starting out, I think, and even for individuals, like if you're just trying to get into the multifamily space, have the self-awareness to know like, hey, what am I really good at? And then go do that again and again and again until you provide enough value that then your opportunities open up for you from there.
Absolutely. I think that's one of our strategies at Massive Capital, that we focus on Class C properties and, just that's our bottom bread, and then we also do the new construction, but only because we have a close relationship, a sister company that's all they do, and they've been doing that for 42 years. So we don't have the experience for new construction or retail, but they do. So we just bring the other side of the capital and funds and all that part. But it is
Right.
important, and that's really really good. I totally agree with you. What are some common mistakes that asset managers or operators make, especially during this period, right? When interest rates are rising and the market is up and down all the time.
Yeah, I think right now the biggest thing for owners is just I think understanding that everyone has challenges in some area, so you're not alone. And I think they wait too long to reach out for additional help. It's okay if you don't have the answers. There's a great book by Dan Sullivan called Who, Not How. So it talks about it's not if it can be done, it's who can do it. And you may not have that right who on your team. So go out and find somebody that can come in and help you solve your problem because your problem can probably be solved. You just don't have enough relationship capital to get it done. So you need to kind of go out and put fillers out and find somebody, whether that be a consultant or hiring somebody else who can come in and help you solve your problems. And then number two, I would say don't wait until the last minute if you know that you have a capital event coming up or you know your property is running low on cash flow. Start early so that you can have more solutions. Because if you're just waiting till 2 months before or a month before, your options become less and less the longer you wait. And like you're kicking the can down the road, thinking, oh, well, rates are going to go down and then I can refinance. You need to be starting, 6 months to a year out to say, okay, what does a refinance look like? What does a sell look like? Start to go to the brokers and have those honest conversations, even though they may be very tough because it's, investor capital on the line. But I think not waiting to have those conversations, the earlier the better, and then communicate back with the investors, let them know in real time, like what's happening. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're partnering with this person, we're bringing this in, and just be transparent. And I think that's the best thing to do in this environment.
Absolutely. I can speak that on that, right? Because I focus on investor relations.
And now, here's someone you want to hear from, our sponsor.
For over 15 years, Skyline Title has been a trusted name in Texas real estate. From first-time homebuyers to seasoned investors, our team ensures a smooth, reliable closing experience every time. Backed by a decade of partnerships and proven success, we take pride in protecting your biggest investment, your home. Visit SkylineHTX.com to learn more.
So you're sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have meetings, quarterly meetings with our investors where we share everything. But every month they receive new newsletters, and I'm also always reaching out to tell them. And just like you said, there is one time when one of our properties was struggling a lot, and we had like I was sending updates every week. It's like this is what is happening. There's nothing to hide. This is what's happening, and investors really appreciate that communication. Thank God, the property is in way better shape now, and we're in the final part of the refi, so it's looking better. We're very excited about coming out on the other side of the bridge with our property, but investors really appreciated that part of communication, of sharing, totally transparency through everything.
Yeah, I love that. I think the worst thing you can do is just put your head in the sand and think, oh, everything's going to improve. So that's really good that you guys are communicating.
Yeah, yeah. And what are some lessons that you learn about running a $2 billion portfolio?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that nothing is done alone. So it definitely takes a team of people. So I had, other asset managers, other acquisitions people who worked with me. And then obviously the principals of the company, they do a lot of everyone kind of stuck to their different discipline, whether that was legal, acquisitions, accounting. So when you're running a portfolio that size, it takes a tremendous amount of people. So on the management company alone, probably 300 plus people. Then on the investment side, another 10 to 15 people. So I think being able to work on a team is really important. And then I think when you're in a leadership role, it's like you take credit for nothing but responsibility for everything. So when everything is going well, it's your team is really, getting the praise and recognition for that. At the same token, if things starts to go south, you have to take accountability as the leader, like, hey, we could have done better here. So I think that that's really important. But being able to work on a team, I think, is very, very important. And in being in a leadership role, so I built out our Frisco office. I moved to Frisco in 2018 to build out that second office and understanding, recognizing people's strengths and then putting them in a position to win. So I really don't believe in like micromanaging. It's like hire the right people, put them in the right position, and then let them do their deal. It doesn't have to be the way that you would do it because I am very much a person like, oh, I could do it. I can do everything. But until you can't, and until it's just too much work, you really need to rely on people who have different skill sets than you, and people put them in that position that they can win in advance as well.
Absolutely. I think that's the key, right? If you're looking to build something massive, you absolutely can do it alone. You need to surround yourself with the right people. And just like you started, very, very good. You have to trust that they are gonna do their job for them. Give them all the tools, all the knowledge, feedback, and just let them run with it. So I totally agree with you. All right, ladies, if you have any questions for Tina, I'm gonna start um, taking them. But before we, while they start taking your questions, you have a very similar story to me because when I learned about multifamily and I was like, this is what I want to do, I started connecting with people in the industry and I was looking for people who were already doing it, right? And I wasn't looking for a job. I actually got a job offer with one of the, very successful operators here in Houston. And I had to turn it down because I wasn't looking for a W-2 job. I was looking for equity. I was looking to just start building ownership, right? And that's kind of like the transition that you are now. So tell me a little bit about why and how do you take that loop of fate and just share your experience.
Oh yeah, this is the we could talk a long time on this one, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. But I think when I first started my multifamily journey, I was very young. I started in a leasing office, leasing. I was a single mom, like working my way through college, and I figured out that if you rented apart or leased apartments, you got discounted rent. So that's how I actually got into multifamily. So I think when I started my multifamily career, I was nowhere in a position to, hey, I'm just going to start my own company. It was very much, I was in survival mode. I needed security and I needed a steady paycheck. And I thought, okay, what career path is going to give me those three boxes. And so I ended up getting a finance degree. So I operated for a long time so much in like scarcity and masculinity, like I'm just going to make this happen. So it took me a long time to unlearn a lot of that and get to a place where I had the confidence and the trust in myself that I could do it. And really the reason that I decided to go my own way is two things. I want ownership and equity and deals. And also I feel that there is an impact piece that I wasn't checking that box in my previous role. I was very fortunate to work for a great company that was doing a lot of deals, but I'm very much a growth mindset person. When I get to a place that I'm not growing anymore, I feel like I'm dying. And so I kind of worked my way out of a job and I trained the guy under me who kind of took my position and he was essentially doing the work and I just felt like I'm kind of not growing anymore. I had like a very nice, fancy corner office at the Star, and I had quote unquote like made it. And I felt like, okay, now what? Like, this is it. There has to be something more. And so I feel like that impact piece, and I wasn't helping anyone. I wasn't helping anyone, women, or anyone get into the business. I was kind of just doing my own thing. And so I really just wanted impact and ownership. And so that's why I decided, and the market was also shifting. So we weren't in 2023, we acquired maybe 3 deals, which was really, really low, so slow year for us. So I knew that the road ahead was going to be a lot of hard work, digging in, restructuring, doing a lot of work. And I just thought to myself, do I want to do this where I'm at and put in all this work, or it's going to be just as much work if I go start my own thing and do it for myself? So that's what I decided to do. No regrets yet.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. It definitely is a scary thing to do, but I'm so happy that you hear your intuition and you took the leap of faith. And just like you said, like right now, thank God you are in a position that you can have that luxury of just like, let's try it. Let's see how it goes. Something that probably in the past you couldn't be able to do. So I love that part. I didn't know that part of your story. So that's amazing. All right. Do you guys have any questions for Tina? Tina, so while we take some questions, what does she builds owns investment to you?
And I think it really just means like legacy. Um, and I say that, and I think sometimes people say legacy, and what they're really talking about is just like the money piece, which is technically that's called an inheritance. So I was told one time an inheritance is what you leave someone, legacy is what you leave in them. So being able to, it's more than just about the ownership piece, it's about bringing other people along that journey with you. So that's what she builds, owns, and invests means to me.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Absolutely. That's absolutely right. All right. Any questions? Well, well, we take some questions. Anything that you want to share, Tina, that we miss, and it is important. I mean, there's so much on the asset management side that you think is important. You want to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, technical asset management, we can write a book on that. I think, troubled and distressed deals, there's a lot of them right now. So if you're a problem solver, there's a lot of opportunities for you right now to go in and partner with people and add value. So I think although a challenging time, it's a great time to get into the business. Charlie, the principal I used to work with before, he said there's always a deal in multifamily because there's always someone who's like messing something up. And not to say that, but they always say you make money when problems are solved. So if you can solve somebody else's problems, you're going to get paid to do that. So go solve some problems.
Absolutely. The market right now is definitely distressed, and there's a lot of things that we didn't know that were coming, interest rates, cap rates expiring, and there's so many deals that, are for sale. So just, finding how to solve those problems, right? And sometimes we go back to the basics, tenants. How do we help them renew their leases? How do we offer just more attractive things, amenities, and all that?
It looks like we have one question from Christina C. She wants to know what my top 3 book recommendations. There's so many. I have an Audible subscription for like 10 years, so I listen to a lot of books. But I would definitely say 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. That's a great one. Um, Good to Great is a good book. So many. One on the more like into The Alchemist is a good book. That's kind of just about trusting manifestation, stuff like that. So all kinds of books, and then the Bible. If you top one probably.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then Esma say that she loves your energy and she wants to connect with you. I put the links on the chat for everybody so you guys can connect with Tina, follow her on her socials, but I also put the link so you can book a call with her on a one-on-one. And yeah, I'm excited to be speaking in Houston tomorrow at your event, Esma. Thank you so much. Then Krista, best way to verify a multifamily deal is a good deal. Tell people in the industry you learn from other than your company.
Yeah, great question. So I would say underwriting is really important. It's definitely with AI now, it's going to be a lot harder to read through those. So I've seen a lot of the models that have come out, and almost every program now has like a financial model. It's going to be very important that you understand what's driving that model. So if you're looking at somebody else's, I always tell people I can make this deal be like a 4 multiple. So it's having the discipline to understand what assumptions are you putting in there. So focus on the assumptions. If they just have crazy rent growth, be sure that you check your assumptions on your rent growth, your exit cap rates, because if you move that exit cap rate by 50 basis points or 100 basis points, your deal value on exit can shoot up. So just having the discipline, maybe some sensitivity analysis to make sure, like, okay, if we don't hit that number, let's stress test it. What does it look like? And always try to find the middle of the road. So you always trying to, under promise and over deliver. Don't put the highest projections out there. Save some stuff back for, hey, if we implement this, we could potentially, but we're not going to promise that. So this is like baseline, what we're comfortable putting in front of the investor base, and we know that we can deliver. So don't overpromise on what can be achieved, and then just stress test the models. And when somebody sends you a financial model, be sure that you're looking to see change some of those assumptions. Usually if it's in dark blue, it's an input and you can change it. Start to change things around, play around with the model and see what happens. They're saying it's a 2 multiple, but if you change rent growth or change something else, it may not be. So there are some good programs out there outside that you can do. I think certifications like CCIM, there are some financial modeling courses you can take that are pretty good. But with everything, I think the way the AI is going, pretty much all the financial modeling is going to get done that way. So I think it's just understanding the metrics behind it, and then having RI, real intelligence, to know when, like, hey, that doesn't really make sense. That
Absolutely.
helps.
I think like especially attending to a lot of events and pretty much connecting with every single owner operator in the industry. It's crazy to hear like when they talking about their deal, like everybody has the best deal in the world, right? Like this is the best deal that you could ever invest. And just like Tina said, like having sense of how they are underwriting assumptions, because we gotta realize that all the underwriting is based on pro forma. It's the future on how I think is gonna perform. But there are so many puzzle. It's a puzzle, right? So there's so many pieces that need to come together. So I always tell people from the investment side, it doesn't matter what deal you're investing. You can have the best location, you can have the best loan, but if the people that you're investing with are not strong, are not conservative, the property can go south anytime. And just because it's multifamily and yeah, we are acquiring millions of dollars of assets, that doesn't mean the property is gonna make a lot of money, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Tina?
Yeah, I think that that's a great point. I think you want to make sure that whoever you're investing with, if you're investing passively, that the GP partnership, they have skin in the game. So they're not just front loading the fees and then they don't care what happens. You want to make sure that when things go south, that they're in it for the long haul, that they're going to do the right thing, act in integrity, and just make sure that they're going to protect your dollars the best that they can. So yeah, it's not if things are going to go south or if challenges are going to happen, because the performa is wrong day one. That's what we like to say. It's wrong day one, but how are you going to adapt? And then also ask who's on their team outside of just their, team members. What is their like relationship capital? Who can they call in if things get challenging to kind of work through some of the difficult situations?
Absolutely, because we always have challenges. If there's no perfect properties, there's always surprises that we never plan for. So, but what is important is how are we gonna adapt. So, well said. There's so many questions. Lisette is saying, I'm curious to know how you initially raised or secured the capital to begin your multifamily development projects. Were there particular strategies or front or funding sources you work best for you?
So I think for me, so right now, the majority of what I do is consulting for acquisitions and asset management. So I have yet to acquire my own deal. So when I do go out and raise capital, I'm going to be doing that via co-GP partnerships. So working with other groups who have already raised capital and been in that space. It will most likely be high net worth individuals, similar to what I'm sure Massive Capital does. But I'm also looking at just private equity. So having a single check writer that can come in and partner with me on the deal. And I would do the operational piece, the asset management piece, and then obviously they would be writing the check to fund the deal. So come back to me in maybe 6 months. The acquisition market hasn't been the best, and I've been patient and just waiting for the right deal to come along.
Awesome, awesome. There's another question from Vanessa. Do you want to unmute yourself, Vanessa? Or you want to read your question?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. First and foremost, thank you so much for all of the knowledge. I'm learning so much and super grateful. So my question was, considering that our network is our net worth, and how important it is, particularly in real estate, I really wanted to ask you for advice, I guess, on making like actual meaningful connections as you're networking, especially like for people who are a little bit more like shy or socially anxious. So yeah, I would really appreciate advice
For
on that.
sure, yeah. I would say, be authentic, be who you are. I think in networking, there's so many networking events, and it's like, okay, which ones do you go to? I think be smart with your time and figure out, okay, what kind of people do you want to be in relationship with, and then the authenticity piece. So I think you don't need to know everyone, you just need to know the right people, the right ones, right? And so it's like the way that you're going to get your tribe, or they say always say your vibe attracts your tribe. So I think the best thing you can do is just show up authentically as who you are and be like, hey, I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm in the room and I just want to learn. Or just start slow with like introductions. And then I think ask questions about them more so about you, and then that's just going to be like a conversational starter. And I think a lot of times you're going to find the commonalities in people. If you're in the room with like-minded people, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that you guys have in common and want to talk about, and you're on the path of financial freedom. I think there's going to be a lot of areas that you guys can connect. So I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you to Miss Jasmine for putting everything on. I really love every single week.
Thank you, Vanessa. Actually, on Saturday in Austin, we were talking with the ladies about, showing up, and I was sharing like I'm an introvert. I just learned extrovert skill set, right? Because just because you are an introvert, that doesn't mean, I mean, especially in real estate, like we gotta put ourselves out there, connect with people, just like Tina said, get to know the right people, and that also like people are not gonna knock on our door and be like, hey, Vanessa, do you want to do this deal with me? And I'm pretty sure nobody knock on your door either, Tina. So just putting ourselves out there and you know pushing it, right, learning
Yeah,
the
and I
extrovert
would say like
skills.
the longer you're in the business, you start to realize like nobody really has it all figured out. Like people talk about imposter syndrome, but there's things like nobody really has it figured out, right? Everyone's kind of just out here trying to do the best that they can. So I would always say also understand that you deserve to be in those rooms just as much as everybody else. So go in there knowing like, hey, I belong here because I'm here. Like, you're always in the right place at the right time. So just go into it knowing that, and I think you're going to do great.
I tell people that all the time. Nobody has it together. We all are struggling. We all are figuring out. So spot on. All right. Any other questions? We have 5 more minutes, guys. Be sure to connect with Tina. Follow her on her social media. I put the links. How is crypto gonna affect multifamily? There's one question here.
And I don't know. Back in 2021, I invested into a crypto company called Voyager, and then it went bankrupt. So I lost a whole bunch of money. So I haven't messed with crypto since then. But I do think the instant transactions where I see some of that working is like when you close a transaction and you're going back and forth a lot with the title company with this. I think that there is an area that maybe digitizing the real estate and maybe even on the fundraising side. But I think a lot is going to have to happen with like the SEC regulations to make that a reality. But you never know. Maybe in 20 years, we're just, instead of doing a fundraise, they're going to digitize the whole real estate and sell shares in that, and it becomes more liquid. Because right now that is the biggest thing with multifamily that's different from like stocks and bonds, is that it's illiquid. Once you put your money into the deal, most of the time, unless you're investing with an institutional fund that lets you take your money out, pretty much your money's locked in until they sell the deal. So maybe things change in the future. I think that that could be really cool and maybe help solve some of the affordability crisis. And you go in and let's say you do a new development, you allow the people who are already there in that community to have ownership in whatever's being developed so that they don't get pushed out. So I would love for it to become a thing and maybe create some solutions, but the regulation is really going to be the thing that probably slows it down.
That's very insightful. And I know Grant Cardone, he's already taking crypto to fund some real estate. I haven't dived deep into any of that, but I know it's happening now. So yeah, interesting. So much happening. Okay. Any other questions? Um, all right. Well, thank you so much, Tina. It's been a pleasure connecting with you. I love all the insightful, just experience that you have. I know this was going to be a very impactful session for me and for everybody, for all the ladies. Some of them are already doing multifamily. Some others are looking to start in multifamily, either as passive or active. But just having different perspectives always help. So thank you so much for your time.
Awesome.
It's
Thank
been
you
a
guys so
pleasure.
much. And, connect with me offline. I think my link is up here so you can connect with my website. I am working on a few things. So I'm working on an ebook called Multifamily Mindset, which is more just about the mindset. Besides, I believe that investing is emotional. And in that, I'm going to be talking more about balancing like the masculine and feminine energy and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that is going to come out July 31st. So just stay in touch with me. It's just going to be like a little ebook. And then later on, I'm going to have more like in-depth like acquisition and asset management, courses and materials, but that's like later on down the road. So I was happy to be here. And if you guys need anything, please let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tina. We will be sure to connect with you. Guys, I put the links on the chat. For those watching the replay, we always have the links on the descriptions. We will love to have you next time. Always remember that we are here the first and the third Tuesday of every month. Every time we bring amazing speakers that add value to us in at least one of the pillars, personally, professionally, or spiritually. So be sure to stay connected. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp group. So stay connected. And again, once again, thank you so much, Tina, for your time. It's been amazing having you.
Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone who took time out of your day to join us. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye bye.